Welcome back. We're now hearing about the Near protocol entering phase 2 of sharding, which is going to bring together Nightshade sharding. Now, there's a lot going on in the Near protocol. As you guys know, Near is, I believe, potentially going to enter the top 15 cryptos. When I'm recording the video, it's number 17, and even may enter the top 10, as they are now adopting some of the technology that Internet Computer has already implemented years ago, like chain key cryptography, which allows multi-chain interoperability and the ability for Near protocol to read and write data and information on other blockchains outside of the Near protocol. But let's understand what Near protocol is, and then we can go into what Nightshade sharding is. And I also have a video for you guys, basically from some of the Near developers. And we're going to show you guys that in just a minute. But first, don't forget to give this video a free thumbs up. We upload every single day of the year to bring you the latest happening in the financial world. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, give the video a thumbs up. And if you want to help support the channel financially, click the join button down below to learn more about becoming a channel member right here on YouTube. So the Near protocol is a layer 1 blockchain that was designed as a community-run cloud computing platform, and that eliminates some of the limitations that have been bogging down competing blockchains, such as low transaction speeds, low throughput, and poor interoperability. This provides the ideal environment for dApps and creates a developer and user-friendly platform. For instance, Near uses human-readable account names, unlike the cryptographic wallet addresses common to Ethereum. Near also introduces unique solutions to scaling problems and has its own consensus mechanism called Doomslug. Near protocol is being built by the Near Collective. It's community that's updating the initial code and releasing updates to the ecosystem. It declared its goal is to build a platform that is secure enough to manage high-value assets like money or identity and performant enough to make them useful for everyday people. Flux, a protocol that allows developers to create markets based on assets, commodities, real-world events, and mint base. An NFT minting platform are examples of projects being built on the Near protocol, which brings us to Near sharding. So, or I should say, the Nightshade sharding, which is effectively phase 2 of Near's protocol implementing sharding technology. So in this video that I'm going to show you, it's a few minutes long. We're going to play it at 1.25 speed. And effectively, these are the developers talking about Nightshade sharding, this latest episode of the Near Whiteboard series, with this person who is the co-founder of Near Protocol and this person who is building the open web at Near Protocol dive into the consensus mechanism and Nightshade sharding design of the Near Protocol. And then once we hear from them, we'll actually go to the Near Protocol documents page and understand a little bit more about what Nightshade sharding is. Try to say that 10 times fast. And we'll also go to the beginnings of Nightshade sharding and understand how it was created. Let's listen in.
I think one of the core idea of Nightshade is that in previous designs of sharded blockchains, usually there is some kind of main chain, or people call it like relay chain, or like the hub, or like whatever names people use for it. It's basically like this chain that people use to orchestrate validators. You can run like staking, and then validator gets selected, they get assigned to shards, and so on and so forth. And then separately for each shard, the names can be different, but conceptually there will be like a shard chain, meaning that for each shard it actually builds its own blockchain. So this is fine, but like one of the problems is mainly that it gets very complex, right? So let's say you have like a cross-shard transaction. The problem is like on both shard chains you can have forks, right? And say forks, and depending on how your transaction lands, it could be that on the source shard, the transaction is executed on the canonical chain, meaning that the fork that becomes eventually final. But then when you send it to the destination shard to execute, it could be that on that part it landed in the non-canonical fork, meaning that later there's a reorg that actually went to select the other fork. That's a big problem because you have like this atomicity failure. Let's say you're sending like some tokens, then it will get debited on the sender account, meaning that they actually get the token deducted, and then on the receiver end, like if there's this reorg, then suddenly they didn't actually get the token. So that's a problem. And then
so effectively what he's saying here, by the way, they both look totally uninterested in this video. This is the founder of the Near protocol. He looks so bored out of his mind. But effectively what he's saying is that if you are sending one transaction on one shard to another transaction and another shard. And then at some point in the future, the shard that you're sending it to gets forked and is not part of the because whenever a chain forks into two, eventually the network, right, the validators on the network, they have to choose which chain is the chain that they deem accurate. And once the majority chooses that chain, that's the chain that they continue to go with. And that's where that reorg that you hear about. So if a validator chose the other chain and they want to go back to the chain that the majority chose, they have to reorg. And basically what he's saying is, if you were the sender, you would have had the amount deducted. But if you're the receiver, because you sent it to a shard and the receiver was on the fork chain that didn't end up being the final chain, the receiver doesn't actually get that money in the reorg. And so that's an issue, what he's saying here. Let's continue listening.
I mean, there are always ways to solve this, but then it gets complex. You need to do this cross-linking to like beacon chain and all this.
Yeah, I mean, usually the approach is you add another chain, which is a whatever beacon chain, which now you communicate to it, and then from there you communicate to, like, it finalizes blocks, and then you can communicate kind of that it needs to be included. And so when this gets finalized in the next block, you guarantee inclusion or some kind of processing and ordering and everything.
So what the founder is saying is, to resolve this, then another chain or shard is created, and this basically connects the dots to which transactions should have been finalized on the final chain after the fork, and which transactions are not going to be finalized. So it basically corrects the problem. But as you can see, this becomes more complex and gets more complicated as time goes on. And even though it's a resolution, it's still fairly complicated.
That creates a massive bottleneck, because now this needs to actually receive all the messages from everyone and be able to like route them. Yeah, kind of creates additional latency for the cross-shard communication, because now you need to have block time here, and potentially one more block time here, if not more, because you still need to wait for finalization. So it can be taking like 4 block times at least, if not longer.
So there you go. There's the basic understanding of, nightshade sharding in the design. So let's understand a little bit more about sharding and how this all kind of goes into play and what NEAR is doing about it. So this is from 2024. The NEAR Foundation announced that the protocol work group will launch testing for phase 2 of sharding, marking a major milestone in the network's development roadmap. Phase 2 introduces fundamental upgrades to NEAR protocol's core architecture, enabling even greater scalability and decentralization for the network. They talk about something else. NEAR's vision of chain abstraction is to facilitate broad adoption of dApps, requires an extreme scalable blockchain layer. From the start, NEAR has been designed to scale with demand towards mainstream adoption. A primary benefit of the new sharding implementation will be an up to 10x speed improvement to NEAR's already fast transaction throughput. Sharding is NEAR's unique approach to scalability, which partitions the blockchain into multiple parallel shards. Combined with NEAR already having the lowest transaction fees in Web3, this sharding upgrade positions NEAR at the forefront of Web3 in terms of both performance and scalability. Phase 2 greatly improves the network's capacity for end-user volume and is an important landmark on the road to global scale usage of Web3. The co-founder of NEAR, who we just heard from in that video, he said NEAR continues to make progress on bringing chain abstraction infrastructure that can scale to 1 billion users and beyond. The scalability improves from stateless validation, can unlock even better user experience for more end-user applications, whether multi-chain DeFi-style dApps or those aimed at mainstream users. Phase 2 introduces the most significant changes to NEAR protocol since mainnet launch in 2020. The biggest of these is the implementation of stateless validation, an innovative approach to state change, or the process of updating the status of all data posted on the blockchain. Now, NEAR validators no longer need to have to maintain the state of a shard locally and can retrieve all the information they need to validate state changes or state witness from the network. With stateless validation, Near can finally achieve the trustless form of sharding, where shards can function most independently at the consensus level to improve decentralization and throughput while preserving the highest security guarantees. An added benefit is that the hardware requirements to run most validator nodes are dramatically reduced. This paves the way for greater decentralization of the network by lowering the barrier to entry to become a validator. Phase 2 is a shift from the original Nightshade sharding architecture Near launched in 2020, bypassing some fundamental roadblocks in that protocol design around the implementation of challenges in the initial idea of Phase 2, while also unlocking additional benefits. Other network improvements in Phase 2 include in-memory tree, wherein validator nodes can load the entire state of the blockchain into RAM for maximized performance. This will greatly improve transaction throughput thanks to minimizing storage access. So you can see Nightshade was the first implementation. Then you had the main net with one shard. Then sharding phase 1 happened in November of 2022, effectively at the bottom of the market, which created four shards, four separate kind of uh, areas of the network. And then in May of 2024, we're entering phase 2, which is stateless validation, and effectively the retirement of Nightshade sharding. Near users will not experience any downtime with the transition and no special action is required. They're going to launch an incentive battle testing of the new sharding architecture that then ran through March, and then we're basically in May. So we should be seeing the phase 2 stateless validation implementation rapidly. And you can see from the example that these developers just showed where the problems lie and how they're fixing it. And this goes all the way back to 2022, like I said, where Nightshade sharding was rolled out in phase 0, simple Nightshade, which successfully launched in the mainnet in November of 2021, effectively at the top of the market. In the initial phase, Near sharded the state but not processing. Meanwhile, the blockchain still was validated by all the validators. The network is split into four shards, significantly increasing the throughput of Near. So they went from phase 0 in 2021 all the way to now phase 2 in 2024 at the beginning of a bull market. And this, as Near is basically competing Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and most importantly, Internet Computer Protocol. And this is why I believe, based on the current metrics, when I'm recording this shortly after the Bitcoin halving of 2024, we're seeing Near and Internet Computer competing for that top 10 position, and it's going to be interesting to see which will make it first. It appears to me that Near is more well positioned to make it into the top 10 before Internet Computer because Near has a little bit more mainstream adoption from the likes of NVIDIA and some of the mainstream tech companies versus Internet Computer, which obviously had a horrible launch, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to do well from a price perspective this cycle, which is what we're watching very closely right here on the Cryptoviser podcast every single day of the year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of video about Near Protocol. If you want more, let me know down below in the comments. Don't forget to hit subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Crypto on.